Look, everyone wants results. We all want to be fitter, leaner, stronger, faster. But the truth, you don't get those results by chasing them. You get the results by chasing the process. Jim Rohn said, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. The people who change their lives aren't obsessed with the outcomes. They're obsessed with the work that they have to do. What's up, guys? My name is Colby Christofic. I'm the owner of Oxstar Movement in CrossFit Ventura. We help busy parents and professionals build real life fitness that sticks. And today, I want to talk about something that separates those who see short-term progress and long-term change. Chasing the process, not the progress. Why we get it backwards. When most people start a fitness journey, they're fixated on the end goal. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want abs. I want a 200-pound clean. And those are great goals, don't get me wrong, but they can become traps. Because when you only focus on your outcome, every day that doesn't look like the finish line feels like failure. You start thinking, why isn't this happening faster? And that mindset kills progress. The truth, success, especially in fitness, but also in life, isn't about chasing outcomes. It's about mastering the process. It's about falling in love with the daily actions that make success inevitable. Loving the process isn't just about workouts. It's about how you live. Think about anyone that's transformed their health, their career, or their mindset. It wasn't done overnight. The mom who meal preps on Sunday because she knows it helps her week go smoother. The dad who trains at 5 a.m. because he knows it's the only time he can move before the chaos ensues. The college student who trades scrolling on his phone for journaling at the end of the evening. They didn't wait to feel motivated. They built a rhythm. And that rhythm turned into the results that they wanted. Because loving the process isn't just about fitness. It's about freedom. We've all been there. The rush of a new personal record, the high of progress. But one bad day, the one lift that we miss, and you start to wonder, am I even any good at this? Here's the truth. Nothing's broken. You're just in the middle. Real growth doesn't happen on the day that you hit the lift. It happens on the days that you miss the lift. When you miss, you're building your awareness. When you repeat, you're building your consistency. The process is the real coach. It teaches you patience, humility, and to trust yourself. Fall in love with that, and your strength won't just return, it multiplies. When we start new athletes at Oxstar Movement in CrossFit Ventura, they often want to come in 5 or 6 days right away. They're excited, and I love that. But I tell them, let's start with 2 classes a week. They usually look at me like I'm crazy. 2 days, that feels like too little. But here's why I do it. I want them to win. And if you can commit to 2 classes a week and stay consistent for a month, you've built a habit. That's a process that you can scale. You can come more, but the habit that you're committing to is 2 days a week. If you nail that, then we'll talk about adding a 3rd day next month. What most people do is start with 5 days in a week, burn out by week 2, and start to believe the story that they just can't do this. They're not cut out for the work. It's not a discipline problem, it's a process problem. You don't build success by doing everything perfectly. Build it by doing something consistently. We need some sort of shift in our attitude as well. You can and should have big goals, but goals alone don't move you forward. Your process does. Falling in love with the process is where transformation actually happens. Because when you shift your focus from how fast can I get there to how much can I actually grow, you unlock something deeper. You stop measuring success by quick wins and start measuring it by effort, by intention, and by your follow through. Jim Rohn said, don't set your goals too low. If you don't need much, you won't become much. But here's the key. Staring at the goal doesn't get you there. Stacking the small wins does. Every class you attend, every time you feel your body right, every night you choose recovery over distraction, that's how your change compounds. That's how your confidence grows. And that's how big goals become real. One disciplined action at a time. Let's look at some different scenarios. My numbers are down. I'm losing my strength. If I look at the process in this, today wasn't about my performance. It was about practice. I showed up, I learned, and I moved forward. Here's another one. I'm stuck. Nothing's changing, including the scale, including the weights on the barbell. If I shift that towards my process and I look at it and say, plateaus mean I'm consistent enough to notice patterns. This is where my real adjustments can happen. Let's take a look at another one. If I look at somebody else and I can say, they're naturally gifted, I can never be that good. My process mindset looks like, they've just practiced longer. Timing consistency are the real talent. Let me put in the work. Let's look at another one. This week, my life was wrecked and my routine is gone. If I look at the process in this and I say, hey, this week totally tested my commitment to these things. I still made time to move, and that's proof that my habits are becoming part of who I am. So how do you actually put this into practice? I'm gonna tell you. 1, you need to define your minimum standard. What's the smallest version of success that you can repeat? Maybe it's 2 classes a week. Maybe it's walking 10 minutes a day. Start small, but stay consistent. Number 2, track your actions, not your outcomes. Don't just track weights of PRs. Track your workouts attended, your meals logged, or nights that you slept 7 or more hours. That's gonna be your real scoreboard. Number 3, reward your work. Celebrate your consistency, not just your milestones. Did you show up for 3 weeks straight, 6 weeks straight, 9 weeks straight? Those are wins. Number 4, detach yourself from results. Your worth isn't measured by your last workout, by your scale weight, or the time on the whiteboard. Those are your feedback points, not your identity. Fall in love with the boring stuff. The warm-ups, the mobility work, the recovery. Those are the bricks that build longevity. For the next 30 days, this is what I want you to do. Stop chasing results and start training your relationship with the process. Your goal isn't to hit anything. It's to practice becoming someone who shows up, no matter what. Pick one process to own for 30 days. Maybe it's move your body every day during the week. Prep food for the entire week on a Sunday. Sleep 7 hours in a single night. Stretch after every single class that you go to. Track it. Reflect on it. Don't evaluate how much changed. Notice how much it's changing you. The goal of this challenge isn't progress, it's identity. Because when you master that process, the progress can't help but follow. When you fall in love with the process, everything changes. You stop seeing workouts as punishment and start seeing them as a privilege. You stop chasing perfection and start chasing presence. You stop asking yourself, how fast can I get there? And you start asking, how far could I get if I never stopped? Because when you fall in love with the process, fitness stops becoming something that you do and becomes who you are. You're no longer trying to get fit. You're living like someone who values strength, consistency, and growth. And that mindset doesn't just show up in the gym. It spills over into your work, into your relationships, into your confidence, your life. You start handling stress differently. You start believing that you can overcome things that you used to avoid. You start leading by example, not because you're perfect, but because you're committed. That's the real transformation. Not the before and after photo, not the personal record, but the identity shift that happens when you say, I don't quit when it gets hard. I know how to grow when things are tough. Fall in love with the process and you'll realize this was never just about the fitness. It was about building the kind of person that can handle anything. I'm Colby Christophic, and this is how we build real life fitness that lasts. I'll see you in the gym.
If you've ever ghosted your gym, had to start over on a Monday, or thought lifting a baby counts as leg day, our videos are for you. We break down all sorts of health and fitness content and give you real advice I wish more people heard. No fluff, no BS, just actionable items. Even if your life's a mess and your squat form is questionable, at the end of our videos, you'll find some sort of actionable content and know what to do next. So buckle up, this might be uncomfortably relatable.